Bear with me 1 sec as I get all this together.
Roadhog low. Roadhog won't right feet on. Putting all the damn girls. They're both low. That's one. Roadhog is still not low anymore. Going back and going back, going
Bear
back.
with me 1 sec.
Get one more belt. Dario, come back, come back.
Davion.
They got a bastion. They have a bastion. Move back, Roadhog.
Davion.
Don't want you to die.
Davion. Bear with me 1 sec. Oh, fucking figures.
Thanks. Don't be afraid to hold that. You're about to die. Nothing wrong with going back. Oh, I got stuck in the enemy backline. I got stuck. Watch out.
Bear with me. Okay, here we go. Alright. Alright, bear with me. Cap lock. Alright, we got that up and running. Nice, nice. Salakia for that situation right there. Had a little bit of technical difficulties, but Shalom, Yahweh Hashem, Yahweh Shah Barakatha to all my brothers, Yahweh Shemar Ilathah Hashem, Yahweh Shah to all my sisters. This is the ISUBK out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under command of General Yohana. And what we do is we teach the Black, Hispanic, and Native people that they are the Most High's true and only chosen people, and in being that comes with a set of responsibilities, and that's to follow the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High. And there's things that we got to remember, with doing that, what I'm saying, so we won't repeat the history that has been done. Today is the history class, And I'm Priest and Officer 500 Ricard Ariel, about to bring some history out. We're going to talk about the sister Sandra Bland, how, you know what I'm saying, that life was taken away from her family, her people 5 years ago. That all that was taken out 5 years ago, and her name is not forgotten. You know what I'm saying? This way that she was taken out was definitely is shrouded in mystery, but we all know what it is. It's a great, it's a weapon that is always used against us nowadays. It's a weapon called police brutality. Police brutality is a weapon of our enemies. See, everybody wants to fight police brutality, but that's not something that you fight. You know what I'm saying? What you fight is the people that's doing it. What you fight is the nation that holds that police brutality as a weapon. If we're gonna get into the history of Sandra Bland, might dibble and dabble into the history of police brutality and how the police came about a bit. You know what I'm saying? So if you got any questions, you know what I'm saying? If you got any questions, type them on in. Give y'all a few minutes to type them on in as we talk about the police brutality and the history of that sister Sandra Bland. You know what I'm saying? How she lost her life. You know what I'm saying? Gonna put these sign-in sheets on the YouTube. All right. If you with it, you with it. Let's get into it. Let's get into it. All right. Back in 2015, that sister Sandra Bland was just riding along. Man, why even care about what I'm saying? Let's read into it ourselves. Let's get with a little reading of it ourselves. Go with the wiki real quick. All right, since y'all ain't got no questions up and running, we're gonna read it through the wiki. We're gonna get a little background of that sister. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna get into all of it. All right. But Sandra Bland was a 28-year-old so-called African American woman who was found hanged in a jail cell in Waller County, Texas. That's how they claim she died. She died of asphyxiation, you know, which is hanging, choking, stuff like that. When you're cutting the airflow off of somebody, that's the way that most black people will not choose to go out. By hanging, not just because of the fear, but it is something that has been happening throughout our people for a long time. Hanging is not a way that we would choose to go. But let's continue a bit. On July 13, 2015, 3 days after being arrested during a pretextual traffic stop. So she was arrested 3 days before she actually was found dead in her cell. Last I checked, that's not a holiday weekend. Why isn't she found to court? Why ain't she found none of that? Like, we all know there's a certain time you're being held in a holding cell. Most places, especially in, you know what I'm saying, smaller cities and so forth, you can find a court hearing literally the next day. You get arrested, bang, you're in court the next day. 3 days, that's a long time. Well, let's continue. It was a pretextual traffic stop. What is a pretextual traffic stop? Let's get into that. It's aka called a Terry stop in the United States, allows the police to briefly detain a person based on reasonable suspicion of involvement in criminal activity. Reasonable suspicion is a lower standard than probable cause. So, which is needed for arrest. When police stop a search of pedestrian, this is commonly known as a stop and frisk. When police stop an automobile, this is known as a traffic stop. If the police stop a motorcycle or minor infringement in order to investigate other suspected criminal activity, this is known as a pretextual stop. Additional rules apply to stop that occurs on a bus. There is a difference between one police officer stopping one individual, which is which is tactical definition, and system promotion of this tactic on either the departmental or municipal level, which can damage police and community trust and lead to charges of racial profiling. Although Supreme Court has published many cases that define the intersection between policing and the Fourth Amendment, in the U.S. Congress has not defined a baseline for police behavior. There has been some state action at both the legislative and judicial levels, and also some cities have passed laws on this issue, except where noted. This article will primarily deal with these issues on a national level. So basically, that's what a pretextual stop is. It's when you pull over a vehicle on minor infringement in order to investigate other criminal activity. That means what that's saying right there, right, is you suspect other things are going on. So you're going to find some type of minor infringement. You're looking for a minor infringement as an excuse to pull a car over or a vehicle over so that you could investigate for what you suspect may be a bigger ordeal. For example, if you suspect a car that could have been into a bank robbery, but you don't know, so what you do is you find something small. Tail light. We all heard it before. Oh, your back tail light's out, or you didn't use a turn signal, or you didn't stop at that stop sign, or whatever other BS they use. You know what I'm saying? This is what they do. This is literally what they do. They literally find something small so they can get to a bigger ordeal, and that is literally what happens to us on a daily basis, and it only really happens to us, which comes into a whole nother problem of racial profiling. You know what I'm saying? And Sandra Bland was pulled over on that type of thing. They suspected that vehicle was in a bigger situation, but they couldn't prove it, so they looked for anything small. You know what I'm saying? They looked for anything small. But let's get back into it. Her death was ruled a suicide, which it was followed by protests against her arrest, disputing the cause of death, and alleging racial violence against her, which all the evidence points to it. All the evidence points to it. You know what I'm saying? Bland was pulled over for a minor traffic violation on July 10th by State Trooper Brian Insignia. The exchange escalated, resulting in Bland's arrest and charge for assaulting a police officer. Okay, so that's her arrest and charge, was assaulting a police officer, right? So if he didn't pull her over, what would her charge have been? Why are you pulling her over? What was the point of pulling? He didn't have no reason to pull her over. He had none. That's why it's not on the charges. The sister felt like she was being discriminated against, which she was. Emotions got, the upper hand of her. From what this is saying, an exchange happened. An exchange escalated, and she ended up assaulting a police officer. No police officer is going to take an assault lightly, so she definitely got beat up. You know what I'm saying? The arrest was partially recorded by Encinia's dash cam. Why was it partially recorded? That's a whole nother issue. A bystander's cell phone and Bland's own cell phone. After authorities reviewed the dash cam footage, Encinia was placed on administrative leave for failing to follow proper traffic stop procedures, which I was saying before. You know what I'm saying? He had no reason to stop her. No reason at all. You know what I'm saying? But we're going to go to a scripture real quick. We're going to go into a scripture to understand why this traffic stop is definitely an issue. All right? We're going to go into a scripture. Alright, let's get into it. Let's go to Lamentations 4:18. Give y'all a couple of seconds to get up in there. Give y'all a few seconds to get there. Alright, if you're there, follow along with me. Lamentations, chapter 4, verse 18. They hunt our steps. They hunt our steps. That's exactly what they were doing with that sister. They were hunting her steps. You know what I'm saying? He had no reason to pull her over. He seen a black woman driving. He hunted her steps. He did not follow proper traffic stop procedure. He did not follow the correct procedure. He did not have a reason to pull her over. And due to him not having a reason to pull her over, he just got a vacation. You know what I'm saying? He beat her up and got a vacation. You know what I'm saying? But they hunt our steps that we cannot go in our streets. Our end is near. Our days are fulfilled, for our end is come. That's just the end is come. They were hunting our steps. He was looking to kill that sister. He was definitely looking to kill that sister. Sandra Bland's life was hunted. You know what I'm saying? And there's nobody that's a better hunter than our enemy. Our enemy is a superb hunter. That is a gift that the Most High has given him. He could hunt flawlessly. Y'all see what he does. Y'all see the type of weapons he makes. I was reading this magazine not too long ago. There's a gun literally smaller than my index finger. Gun literally about this big, like a whole gun. And then he got guns that's as big as can be. You know what I'm saying? He got ways where he could camouflage. He got drones. He don't even have to be near you. He got drones where he could fly over and shoot you down while he's controlling it from miles away. And these are the technologies that we do know of. What about the technologies that we don't? He hunts our steps. He's literally hunting us. And y'all think marching and protesting is going to stop him from doing what he naturally does? That's what he naturally do. That's how he is at peace. It's with hunting. That sister didn't do nothing to lose her life. But just remember, they hunt our steps. You know what I'm saying? That we cannot go in our streets. We are getting gunned down in these streets. Armed, unarmed, it don't matter. We are getting gunned down in our neighborhoods. But technically, they're not even our neighborhoods. We don't own no business, no land, no nothing. But these are the streets that we call home, and we are getting gunned down there. You know what I'm saying? But let's go back to the history. You know what I'm saying? Texas authorities and FBI conducted an investigation into Bland's death and determined that Waller County did not follow required policies, including time checks on inmates and ensuring that employees had completed required mental health training. So there is FBI federal procedures that was not followed in this sister's death. There are people who were not keeping time, because when you fill out reports, timing is very important. You got to write down the time of every event that happens. You know what I'm saying? You got to write those times down. So you got to have time, and you got to have wellness checks. They got to make sure that nobody committed suicide. Make sure they are mentally stable. Then not just that, their employees didn't even complete mental health training. So how would they know if she was in the right state of mind or not? How would they even know that? They like to put it on her. They like to put that on her. You know what I'm saying? But let's continue. In December 2015, a grand jury declined to indict the county sheriff and jail staff for a felony relating to Bland's death. Let's repeat that. A grand jury declined to indict the county sheriff, which is Encinias, and jail staff, which is the people that's running the jail, for a felony relating. So they didn't even charge nobody for her death. The following month, even though they seen that procedures were not followed, they seen that, nobody was trained properly, nobody was following policies, nobody was doing anything that they were supposed to be doing, but nobody gets charged either. Nobody gets charged? Why isn't anybody getting charged? You know what I'm saying? Why isn't anybody getting charged? Let me tell you why nobody's getting charged, all right? Let's go to Zechariah 11:5. Oops. My bad. Hold on. Let's get to it. Let's go to Zechariah. If you're there, you're there. If you're not, you're not. I'm going to give you a couple seconds to get with it. All right. Give you a couple seconds. Zechariah chapter 11, verse 5. Whose possessors slay them. She was in the possession of the county sheriff department. She was in jail. You know what I'm saying? She was literally possessed by the county. The city, county. I mean, up here we don't go by counties too much, but down there they do. But up here, terms up here is you know what I'm saying, she was just in jail. You know what I'm saying? The holding cell. And when you're in the holding cell, you're literally property of this county. You know what I'm saying? It's no different from being in a prison. You are literally possessed. You are literally a slave. Literally, by definition. You know what I'm saying? They possess them. And guess what? Let's bring that back. Whose possessors slay them. They slayed that sister. They killed that sister. They will not admit it at all. But we're going to get into why. But they definitely killed that sister. Just like they killed so many of us. You know what I'm saying? So many of us have died in possession of the police. You know what I'm saying? We can get into all the names. You know what I'm saying? But let's continue. and hold themselves not guilty. They don't hold themselves guilty. It's not their fault. That's why they like to bring up black on black crime, because they don't hold themselves guilty for the crime they do against us. They don't hold themselves guilty at all. It's all our fault. It's all our fault. If that sister just would have just did what the officer said, she'd still be alive according to them. If that brother didn't run, he'll still be alive. If he wasn't selling Lucy's on the corner, he'll still be alive. If they got a bunch of excuses and reasons, you know what I'm saying? But we know this is who they are. That's why we call them the devil that the Bible speaks of, because they're full of deceit. They're full of lies, and they're full of just BS, technically. They're full of BS. But let's get back into it. Excuse me. Whose possessors slay them and hold themselves not guilty. And they that sell them say, Blessed be the Lord, for I am rich. And their own shepherds pity them not. They take pride in our death because it makes them money. It makes them money. They get rich off of our misery, off of our pain. And our so-called black leaders, they don't pity us because they're getting rich off of it too. They get paid off of our misery. You think Al Sharpton cares? Jesse Jackson? You think Farrakhan cares? Think Black Lives Matter actually cares? Black Lives Matter was nowhere near around for Sandra. They didn't speak a word about her. You know what I'm saying? They ain't say not one peep. But this is how they move, though. This is how they move. You know what I'm saying? They literally hold themselves not guilty. You know what I'm saying? They have no problem putting the blame on us. They did that for everybody. They're trying to do that now, and now it's a little harder for them to do. Now it's a little harder for them to put the blame on us because it's now worldwide. The whole world sees it. You know what I'm saying? It's being spotlighted. You know what I'm saying? It's being spotlighted. But let's continue. Let's get back to the history. Let's get back to the history. Oh, hold on. Let me get the screenshot. Bang, bang. All right, let's get into the background of the sister. Sandra Bland was born on February 7th, 1987. July 13th, 2015 is when she died. From Naperville, Illinois, a suburb in Chicago. It was a sister, was one of 5 sisters. You know what I'm saying? She attended Willowbrook High School. You know what I'm saying? Where she was a member of Sigma Gamma Rho sorority. You know what I'm saying? She went to Prairie View A&M. That Prairie View A&M, if I'm correct, is a HBCU, right? She joined some Greek fraternity, which I tell y'all don't do that. That's Greek life, not black life. You know what I'm saying? She graduated. Bland returned to Illinois. She worked in administration for Cooks, a food service equipment supplier, a job she left not long before her death. She had been due to start a temporary job in August 3rd, 2015, with Prairie View as a summer program associate. In January 2015, Bland began posting videos about many subjects, including police mistreatment, which is why a lot of people think she was targeted. Because she made a lot of police brutality and police incidents, and she put them, you know what I'm saying, on Front Street. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people feel like the police had a thing against that, which they do. They don't like being on Front Street. In one post she wrote, "In the news that we've seen as of late, you could stand there, surrender to the cop, and still be killed." She has been described as a civil rights activist in Chicago. She had a good reputation and a part of the Black Lives Matter movement. Bland had at least 10 previous traffic-related encounters with police in Illinois because they were hunting her steps. Who has 10 traffic situations? Who been pulled over by the cops 10 times? Only one set of people. Us. Because they are hunting our steps. And have been charged 5 times for driving without insurance, 4 times for speeding, and once each for driving while intoxicated and drug possession. Now let's check out these charges. Remember what traffic stops are based on. You got to have some type of inkling that a crime is being committed. How did you get an inkling that somebody didn't have insurance? How did that inkling come about? You know what I'm saying? The speeding, yeah, you might be able to get somebody for that because you can see if somebody's going too fast. But how do you know that they didn't have insurance? You know what I'm saying? Her final so-called conviction was for shoplifting. She owed $7,579 in unpaid fines at the time of her death. They will say anything, bro. Now let's check out the background of this cop. Brian Encina was 30 years old. I bet you don't have nothing but sweet words for this guy. At the time of the incident and lived in Texas voter records as Hispanic. He graduated from Texas A&M University in 2008 with a degree in agricultural leadership and development, number sweet words, held a position in Bluebell Creameries as an ingredient processing supervisor prior to his employment as a state trooper in 2014. So he only been on the job for a year. He was a rookie by himself. He was a rookie by himself. He served as a volunteer firefighter for the fire department for 4 years. You know what I'm saying? He was a rookie taking that life of that sister. Well, he didn't take the life directly, but he was directly involved in the taking of her life. You know what I'm saying? He was directly involved. And let me tell you something. I doubt he was Hispanic. I seen this picture. He most likely would have a Spaniard, descended from Spaniards. And if he was Hispanic, let me tell you something. When black and Hispanic people become police officers, military personnel, we end up becoming weapons of our enemies. We literally end up becoming their tool to destroy their enemies' lives. When you're in the military, you're fighting their fight. When you're a police officer, you're fighting their fight. So let's say if the police officer was black, yes, the same thing would have happened. The same exact thing would have happened. Why? Because your interest is not in your people. Your interest is in your employment. Your interest is in your boss's interest. You know what I'm saying? It's not in your people. So that sister literally lost her life because they literally wanted to take it. That sister had a reputation of being against police. That sister had a reputation for putting police on Front Street. She was a community activist, so I doubt the shoplifting thing. She's a community activist. I mean, she has a reputation to uphold. You know what I'm saying? I doubt you will find video of so-called community activists shoplifting. You know what I'm saying? Unless it was before they became community activists, which that money only happens, for a certain amount of time. This is some good water, y'all. You know what I'm saying? So they put a lot of dirt on her name and nothing but kisses and rainbows for the police officer. You know what I'm saying? Nothing but kisses and rainbows for the police officer. You know what I'm saying? And it's disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting. But let's get into something. Let's get into another verse real quick. Give it to Ezekiel 35:5. Give y'all a second to get there. Give y'all a couple more seconds. Just remember, if you got any questions, just type them on in. Alright, if you're there, follow along with me. Ezekiel chapter 35, verse 5. Because thou hast had a perpetual hatred. What's a perpetual hatred? What is a perpetual hatred? If you're in class, let me know if you know what a perpetual hatred is. What's a perpetual hatred? I know there's like a 30-second delay, so I'm going to give y'all a little more time to type in your answers. What is a perpetual hatred? All you got to do is figure out what the word perpetual means, and it all will come together. Nah. But for the sake of time, let me give it to you. Perpetual is like never ending. It's something that moves on its own energy and it's never ending. You know what I'm saying? Like perpetual energy. Perpetual energy is energy produced off of itself. You know what I'm saying? And that's what that is. A perpetual hatred is hatred that continues off itself. You know what I'm saying? It's never ending off itself. That means this hatred that our enemy has for us, no matter how much you beg them, how much you march, how much you cry, how much you fight and you know what I'm saying, literally begging for your recognition to be seen as an equal, they will always have hatred for you. Always. That hatred will never end. That hatred will always be there. It will go nowhere. That hatred is not going nowhere. They will continue to hate you forever. You know what I'm saying? And when you work for them, that's what you're working for. That's what you're getting out of it. You are working for that perpetual hatred. You are literally working for that perpetual. I mean, their hatred for us is passed down. Think about it. Who has the worst things to say about black people? Which of our people say the worst things about us? It is the rich and the affluent of our people. The ones that got all the graces and the recognition from massa that they want. And when it comes to us, they have nothing but bad, evil things to say. You know what I'm saying? Like, and they know doing that is how they're going to get rich. How they're going to keep money in their pocket. You know what I'm saying? Is by stuff like that. But let's continue. Because thou hast had a perpetual hatred and shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword in the time of their calamity. Look, because of their hatred, you're going to be that sword that they're using. When you're a cop, you'll literally become that sword that they use to hurt your own people in a time of our calamity. We're in our time of calamity right now. Look at what's going on with us. We are literally in our time of calamity right now. Literally. We are drug infested, disease infested, violence plaguing us everywhere, abortions. We're number one in every disease, health issue. We're number one in the violence categories. We're number one in everything. You know why? Let me tell you why. Because this is our time of our calamity. This is the time, and you just helping them continue that and putting their boot on our neck when you work for them, when you're a cop. You know what I'm saying? When you're a military personnel, when you're in politics, when you're in the clergy. That's all you're doing. You're helping them perpetuate their hatred onto your own people. It's exactly what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? And the time of their iniquity had an end. It's about time for this to end. And as it's ending, it's getting harder and harder. That hatred is growing and growing. Everything is being put on us faster and faster. They are not slowing down. They're keeping that boot on our necks. They are not slowing. Nothing about them is going to slow. You know what I'm saying? They're going to keep it moving. Because they know what's to come. They know what's to come. You know what I'm saying? But let's get back into some more of their sister's life. You know what I'm saying? Let's get into the traffic stop incident itself. Hold on. Bear with me a sec. Bear with me 1 sec. Hold on, bear with me, bear with me.
There's 2 on point. And it's Genji on. Everyone else.
Bear with me, bear with me.
Get out of the car now!
Why am I being apprehended? You trying to give me a ticket for the failure?
Get out of the car.
Why am I being apprehended? You just opened my car door. You just opened my car door. So you threatening to drag me out of my own car.
Get out of the car!
And then you
I
gonna
will
stun
light
me?
you up. Get out!
Wow.
Now!
Wow.
Get out of the
Really,
car!
for a failure to signal. You doing all of this for a
Get
failure
over
to signal.
there!
Right, yeah. Yeah, let's take this to court. Let's do
Go
it.
ahead.
For a failure to signal. Yep, for a failure to signal.
Get off the phone.
On my school.
Get off the phone.
I'm not on the phone. I have a right to record. This is my
down.
property. This
Put
is
your
my
phone
property.
down.
Sir?
Put your phone down right now.
Now y'all seen that? For a failure to signal. That's what that was. A failure to signal. I don't know if y'all seen it properly. I tried to get it popping. Hold Hopefully y'all got it. But for a failure to signal, that's what that was about.
We're going back. We're going back. We're not getting
And you see how that rookie was so aggressive about her getting out the car for a failure to signal? What's a failure to signal? What comes with a failure to signal? What comes with that? Is that an arrest? Is that warranted for an arrest? What's a failure to signal? Well, what's the punishment for that? If you're in class, tell me, what's the punishment for a failure to signal? Let me tell you, if you don't know, I can tell you in Massachusetts, if you failed to signal and you got caught, and you got pulled over, they won't ask you to get out the car. They'll just write you a ticket, you know what I'm saying, and that be that. That be that. They'll write you a ticket and you keep on moving. That's what a failure to signal is supposed to produce. You know what I'm saying? A failure to signal does not warrant an arrest. You turn without putting on your signal. This sister died because she didn't put on her signal. Probably was an empty road, nobody around anyway, but the police officer. Nobody around, nobody behind her, nobody in front of her, nobody. And they want to go jump down her throat over a failure to signal. And you seen that dude. I doubt he was a Hispanic. I seriously doubt. I believe he might have descended from Spaniards. You know what I'm saying? But we're going to get another scripture real quick. Let's go to John 8 and 44. Let's go to John 8 and 44. I want to give you a couple of seconds to get there. Because it didn't signal, which makes no sense at all. You want to tell somebody to get out the car because of failure to signal? That's borderline retarded. But let's get with it. John 8 and 44. If you're there, read along with me. Alright? Ye are of your fathers the devil. Who is Christ talking to when he's saying this? Who is Christ talking to when he's saying these words? You are of your father the devil. Who is he talking to? If you're in class, tell me who is he talking to. You are of your fathers the devil. Give y'all probably one more minute to type it on in. Ye are of your fathers the devil. Who is he talking to? All right, let me give you the answers. We're short on time. Let me give you the answer. He's talking to black politicians. He's talking to black clergymen. He's talking to black police officers. He's talking to black military personnel. Ye are of your fathers the devil. Who is their father? The devil? Our enemies. Because they're the greatest deceiver on this planet. That's what the word devil means. It means deceiver. Nobody's a greater deceiver than him. How many treaties he had with the Native American people? Or the so-called Native American people? How many treaties he had? About 100 of them. How many were kept? None of them. What happened to that 40 acres and a mule? What treaty has he ever kept? What word has he ever kept? And you're marching like he's going to keep the words that he's promising you of now. Like he gonna stop killing. He will never stop killing. Never. And you are of your father the devil. That means you are going to do his will. Let's get into that. Ye are of your fathers the devil, and the lust of your fathers ye will do. Black clergymen, black police officers, black military personnel. You know what I'm saying? If you are Israelite and you are part of that, guess what? You will do what the white man wants you to do, because that serves your personal interest, which makes you more of your father the devil than anything. You know what I'm saying? Because he's supplying you with all your lust, so you will definitely do everything that he wants you to do. Everything. Because you know it'll get you what you want. You have no love for your people. You have absolutely none. So let's say if this officer was a Hispanic, which is highly doubted. Let's say he was a Hispanic. His will is of his father, the devil. His will is purely of his father, the devil. He wanted to kill that sister just like our enemies wanted to kill her. It was their will for her to die, because she was a community activist speaking up against police brutality. You know what I'm saying? That's what she was doing. So it's definitely in their plan to kill her. See, you are of your father, the devil. And the will of your father ye will do. But let's continue. He was a murderer from the beginning. He was a murderer from the beginning. Who's the first murderer?
No.
Who's the first murderer in recorded history?
No.
Cain. The white man had the spirit of Cain in him.
I'm trying to snipe it.
Jealous of his brother, and so he killed him. The white man's jealous of us, so he wants to kill us. And that's the will that you are following. That's the will of your father that you're trying to do. You're trying to be like him. That's why you talk down on your own people. That's why you do all this and all that. Because of the will of your father you will do. You ain't doing the will of our father. Because our father says black, Hispanic, and Native people are the greatest people on this earth. You know what I'm saying? You are doing the will of your father, which is the devil, which is our enemy, the oppressor, Caucasians. That is your daddy. That's why you in the military. That's why you in the police department. That's why you in politics. Because you're trying to do their will. You're trying to follow their rules and their lifestyle. And that's why that sister Sandra got killed. That's if that brother was a Hispanic. Or if that man was a Hispanic. But I doubt it. But just in case, he has to catch some of this smoke too. You know what I'm saying? And abode not in the truth. There's no truth in your daddy. And since you want to do his will, there's no truth in you. You want to follow our enemy, there's no truth in you. None. Why would there be? You're doing everything but what his will is. Salakia. Salakia for that. You know what I'm saying? But we're going to get into it. Let's continue. When he speaketh a lie, he speaketh of his own. When he speaketh a lie, he speaketh of his own. And you're going to speak that same lie. Everything, remember, he's the greatest deceiver on this planet. Everything he says is purely to benefit him. And every lie that you tell is going to benefit him too. That's why that sister was stopped for failure to signal. I wonder if it's even true she failed to signal. I wonder if that's even true. I don't even think it was true. I mean, look who it's coming from. Can they be trusted? Can anything they say be trusted?
Sorry, got the though.
No, nothing they say can be trusted. Nothing. You know what I'm saying? For he is a liar and the father of it. Our enemy is a liar and the father of it. That's why he is the devil that the Bible speaks of. And you doing his will, guess what? That makes you a demon, a little minion. You know what I'm saying? That makes you somebody that's following after somebody who's a liar and a murderer. Because you want to be a police officer. Because you want to be in the military. You want to be a politician. You want to be a clergyman. Guess what? All that is of his will. None of it actually benefits us. None of it. You know what I'm saying? None of it benefits us at all. You know what I'm saying? But let's get back to the history of it. This is history class. So let me focus on that a bit. Get back. Oop, hold on. Let's get back to this video. I'm gonna play this video from the top because I'm not even sure if y'all seen it the first time.
Get out of the car now.
Why am I being apprehended? You trying to give me a ticket for your failure?
Get out of the car.
Why am I being apprehended? You just
I
opened my
understand.
car door.
Good night.
You just
I'm
opened my
gonna
car
drag you
door.
out of here.
So you threatening to drag me out of my own car.
Get out of the car.
And then you
I
gonna
will
stop
light
me?
you up. Get out.
Wow.
Now.
Wow.
Get out of the car.
For a failure to signal. You doing all of this for a
Get
failure
over
to
there.
signal. Right, yeah. Yeah, let's take this to court. Let's do
Go
it.
ahead.
For a failure to signal. Yep, for a failure to signal.
Get off the
On
phone.
my school.
Get off the phone.
I'm not on the phone. I have a right to
Put your
record. This
phone
is my
down.
property. This
Put
is
your
my
phone
property.
down.
Sir?
Put your phone down. Right now.
Says it just 28. Dash cam.
You doing all of this for a
Get
failure
over
to
there.
He wanted out of the view of the dash cam too.
signal? You
I
gonna
will
stop
light
me?
you up. Get out.
Wow.
You okay?
I'm waiting on you. This is your job. I'm waiting on you. What do you want me to
You seem very irritated.
I am. I really am. But I feel like this crap is what I'm getting the ticket for. I was getting out of your way. You were speeding up, tailing me. So I move over and you stopped me. So
He sped up. He was tailing her. And everything else. That is literally hunting of the steps, man. That's literally hunting of the steps. He hunted that sister's steps. Even she recognized that he was tailing her. He probably searched up the license plate, figured out who it belonged to. An infamous community activist who stood for the love and the encouragement of black people. So, oh, she must be stopped. Ah, she failed to signal. That's the excuse he ran with. That's the excuse he ran with. That's just to recognize that she was being followed. Her steps were being hunted. You know what I'm saying? And this is all 5 years ago to this day. This sister should never be forgotten. If this is what should let you know how horrible and slimy your enemies are. They are slimy. They're about as disgusting as it gets, man. There's nothing that could be done. You know what I'm saying? These people literally hunt our steps. They are plotting. They are stalking. That's the perfect word right there. They are stalking us. Trying to find any reason to kill us. Any failure to signal. And this is what we got to deal with as a people. Till we come back to these laws, statutes, commandments. We all got to deal with this. We all got to deal with the fear of being pulled over by people who follow the will of their own father, the devil. We got to worry about being followed by people who do not have our best interests in mind. You know what I'm saying? People who just want us dead. Point blank, period. You know what I'm saying? It's a hard pill to swallow. You know what I'm saying? I know you love your enemy. You love these people. They're not all bad, however you like to put it. But guess what? They are not our friends. They want nothing but our blood to be spilled, and you see that daily. How can you not see this? How can you dispute it? That sister did nothing. But we're gonna get back into it. We're gonna get back into it. Scream cat. Let's finish up this vid. Probably get into a couple more.
Oh yeah, I am a little irritated, but that doesn't stop you from giving me a ticket. So let's continue.
Are you done?
You asked me what was wrong, and I told you.
Okay.
So now I'm done. Yeah.
Okay. You mind putting out your cigarette, please? If you mind.
I'm in my car. Why do I have to put out my cigarette?
Well, you can step on out now.
I don't have to step out of my car.
Step out of the car.
Why am I-
You seen that?
Watch out.
You seen that? See, this is why the ISUPK promotes not smoking anything. They're going to use something that they do on a daily basis. If she was white, he would not have asked her to put out the cigarette. It's a traffic stop for a traffic violation as small as failing the signal. He wants her to stop smoking all of a sudden. She don't want to stop smoking. That's why us in the ISUPK says you shouldn't be smoking, period. Because now you're just giving them every ailment. Everything that you do, that they do, is an excuse for them to kill you. Like, let's go back to that first scripture that I brought up. Or is it the second one? Nah, let's go to the second one, the one in Zechariah. It's Zechariah 11:5. It says, whose possessors slay them and hold themselves not guilty. You know why they hold themselves not guilty? Because we're breaking our Father's laws. We're out there smoking. God says don't smoke. Now they don't feel guilty for killing us because you're breaking God's laws. We're killing each other. We're breaking God's laws. We're getting high. We're breaking God's laws. We're eating crab, pork, shrimp, and lobster. We're breaking God's laws. So they don't feel guilty for doing it. In fact, they may even consider it a good thing. You know what I'm saying? They don't find it as negative as we might. You know what I'm saying? They don't find it as a bad thing. It's, well, how would they put it? One less bad apple, or whatever, however they like to put it. One less, you know what I'm saying, N-word on the street. One less Negro on the street. That's how they think. And we can't be fooled by that. See, if she wasn't smoking at all, he wouldn't be able to bring up that excuse. He wouldn't be able to bring up that weapon of his. You know what I'm saying? To have her come out the car. Even though smoking is not a reason to pull somebody out of a car. It's not. It's not a reason at all. You know what I'm saying? But let's continue. Let's continue with this video.
I know people have hopes and they're just...
Step out of the car.
No, you don't have the right.
Put your phone down.
Look at him. Does that look like
body block it.
a picture of it? Look at that. Does that look like an Israelite? The whole spirit of that? Nah.
No, duh.
Nah. If it is, guess what? He's of his father, the devil. It's just that simple. That is disgusting. That is absolutely disgusting. You see what we gotta deal with? All over a traffic stop, failure to signal, and a cigarette, your life can be taken. As a black, Hispanic, and Native person in this country, your life is highly expendable in this country as a black, Hispanic, and Native person. You know what I'm saying? You gotta be more careful out in these streets. They will quickly find any reason to kill you. Any reason. You know what I'm saying? Any reason at all. They have no concern. None at all. No concern about you. None whatsoever. But they will try to take your life. That's for sure. They will definitely do that. But let's get into another video. You know what I'm saying? Let's get into another video about this sister while she was in the prison, because that's where they claim that she was hung. Inside the prison itself. You know what I'm saying? Oh, Salakia. Got a stupid ad popping up.
It's about the third week into Kathy's weight loss battle where things really started to go downhill.
Now to the latest on Sandra Bland, the woman who was found dead in a Texas jail cell 3 days after being arrested during a traffic stop. Police have released new video from outside her cell around the time she died, as her family awaits the results of that private autopsy. ABC's Ryan Smith has been tracking the case for us. Good morning, Ryan.
Good morning, Robin. Authorities say they believe Sandra Bland's death was a tragic accident and not one of criminal intent, but they also add they're viewing this like they would a murder investigation and now releasing video from inside the jail where she was held during the last moments of her life.
This morning, authorities say this newly released jailhouse video shows the moments police officers realized Sandra Bland was dead, hanging in her cell, a garbage bag around her neck. The 3-hour surveillance tape shows...
Hold on, y'all heard that? Did y'all hear that? A garbage bag around her neck. How did she get access to a garbage bag in jail? How did she get access to a garbage bag? In jail, you'd be lucky to have access to a damn blanket. How she get access to a garbage bag? Where does garbage bag come from? They ain't going to show you videos of 24 hours before her death. They will not show you that. That will show people coming in and coming out, making them all suspects. But how did she get access to a garbage bag to put around her neck? Can somebody explain that? Can any of these police officers explain that? They ain't going to show you that footage because they hold themselves not guilty. They don't think anything they done was wrong. She's smoking, she stole, she did a whole bunch of this and that and this, breaking her own law of her own nation. You know what I'm saying? They have a whole bunch of reasons. You know what I'm saying? Why they do what they do to us. We shouldn't give them any reason. That's why in the ISUPK we tell you to follow these law, statutes, and commandments, because now you follow the law, statutes, and commandments, guess what? They have no excuses. They have no excuses. And you following those law, statute, commandments, if they do anything to you, guess who they really doing it to? They're really doing it to our power. But how did she get a garbage bag to put around her neck? How? Some things they will not tell you, period. But let's get into it even further. Let's get further into this video.
Little activity in the hallway leading to Bland's cell. But watch as this officer goes to check on her, looks through a window, and runs back to the main jail area to summon help.
This is being treated like a murder investigation.
The Texas Rangers now investigating how she died after being arrested in this routine traffic stop. Police placed her in this area of jail cells. You can't see her, but they claim her health was intact.
There were no reported injuries by Miss Bland. No additional medical treatment was requested.
And less than 3 hours before her death, authorities say jailers conducted their rounds.
A jailer personally spoke with Miss Bland. Miss Bland reported to this jailer, "I'm fine."
Later, she asked about making a phone call, one never made. It would be their last conversation with her. An hour later, a guard comes to Sandra's cell.
The jailer looked through the window and observed Miss Bland hanging from her privacy partition in her cell.
But this video still leaving her family with more questions than answers.
Wasn't much of anything there, so of course that still was lingering questions. I will tell you
what you're going to get.
That what I think it shows is that it's clear that something's wrong.
And while a coroner listed Sandra's cause of death as suicide, authorities say they're not so sure.
So it is too early to make any kind of determination that this was a suicide or a murder.
Police say they expect to release dash cam video of the arrest today, and they're downloading data from Sandra's phone indicating she was recording the incident. As for her family, they're hoping private autopsy results expected today will help solve the mystery of her death, George.
Okay, Ryan, thanks very much. Let's talk to Dan Abrams about this right now. So the police treating this like a murder investigation, but no evidence that anyone...
Well, we know they're going to spin it to a whole bunch of BS. We don't need to get any further into that. But understand this. That mystery that's shrouded and covered on that sister's death is duly because they hate us. That sister was a community activist. She was doing what she can do to protect the community from evil police officers like the one that pulled her over. You know what I'm saying? Knee on the neck. You seen that video? That was a camera phone from a bystander. How much more of that video's out there? But this is what it boils down to. Their hatred for us all stems to the fact that they're not us. You know what I'm saying? We can get into it, the history of it, but that hatred we got to prepare for and expect. We got to expect that hatred. See, this marching and this protesting is signs that you do not have no plans on expecting this hatred from them. You don't expect it from them. You want the kisses, hugs, and rainbows. You want that. But guess what? You're not going to get it from them. The scripture says, never trust your enemies. Never trust them. Because trusting them just going to lead to us dying. They have a perpetual hatred. Why are you trusting somebody that's going to hate you forever? Ever. They will not ever love you. It's a perpetual hatred. History has proven that they will not ever love us. But you want to march and beg. You get pulled over for a minor traffic violation, and guess what happens? Guess what happened with that minor traffic violation? You know what I'm saying? Guess what happens? You end up getting pulled out the car because you're smoking. That is not a crime. Unfortunately, in this country, it is not a crime to smoke. It is not. But she got pulled out the car for smoking. So-called failing the signal. She's smoking a cigarette. Now she got to get pulled out because a failure to signal is just a ticket. That's all you get from a failure to signal is a ticket. That's not a reason to get pulled out of the car. And then he wants to use smoking a cigarette as an excuse to get pulled out the car. And then she gets a trash bag. How does she get a trash bag in jail? Who gets a trash bag in jail? What she need a trash bag for? And that trash bag somehow gets around her neck. One of the hardest ways to kill yourself is by hanging. Because once you figure out that you're hanging, you don't want to hang no more. That's why people are kicking their feet when they're hanging. Because they're trying to get some ground so they can stop hanging. And you trying to tell me that sister hung herself with a trash bag that she shouldn't have had? That cannot be explained. And they will not explain that. And they will not explain that. They're going to chuck this up to the game. They're going to charge it to the game. Because that's what it is to them. It's a game. You know what I'm saying? They have no plans on having any type of mercy towards us. This is their kingdom and they want nothing but destruction of us. Nothing but. And they show it all the time. You know what I'm saying? Look at that brother George Floyd. Knee on the neck. That police officer had his hands in his pockets looking comfortable. He was comfortable killing that black man. Just like they're comfortable with the death of Sandra Bland. They don't hold themselves guilty or accountable for nothing. They don't hold themselves guilty or accountable for a 12-year-old playing with a toy gun outside. What 12-year-old don't play with a toy gun? I got a 10-year-old and some of his favorite toys outside of video games is toy guns. What 12-year-old doesn't play with a toy gun? So they want to bring up every excuse to kill us, but them being in the wrong. They are completely in the wrong for it. You know what I'm saying? Completely in the wrong. I ain't going to get into the conspiracy theories. I just wanted to state some facts with just the facts. You don't even need to get into the conspiracy theories of it because there's plenty of conspiracy theories. But the facts alone show that this death is on this blood is on their hands, and the Lord hears the cries of Sandra Bland through her blood alone. He hears the cries of that sister. And that's why the coronavirus is here now. That's why the coronavirus is here now. You know what I'm saying? Because the simple fact is, they are killing us unjustly. Unjustly. For no reason. Just because they hate us. A just killing would be like if a brother was out there killing or attacking one of them and got killed. That's just. But that sister just had a traffic stop, smoking in a car, and a trash bag was randomly discovered around her neck inside the prison. That trash bag threw me for a loop. How do you get a trash bag when you're in jail? How? You know how many brothers want trash bags in jail right now? You know what they could do with a trash bag in jail? You know they making alcohol in toilets? They're literally making alcohol in toilets in jail. If they had trash bags, they wouldn't have to make the alcohol in toilets. You know what I'm saying? Man, I'm telling you right now, man, our enemy is straight up and down the devil that the Bible speaks of, man. Straight up and down the devil that the Bible speaks of. You know what I'm saying? And it's absolutely disgusting. This sister died 5 years ago, and her death is still a mystery. Still a mystery. And absolutely disgusting. Actually, I might want to hear the rest of this video. You know what I'm saying? The rest of this nonsense that they're going to spew out of their mouths. Let's get to the rest of it.
Went in the cell.
That's right. So you have the sheriff and the coroner deeming this to be a suicide. But in essence, what the district attorney is saying is, yeah, I know that that's their position, but I'm still going to do an independent investigation here to determine could there be something else. Meaning, you can still look, for example, at the plastic bag. Were there fingerprints? Were there DNA? These are important questions that need to be answered. And by the DA coming out and saying, I'm going to look at this as if it was a murder investigation, he's saying this isn't over. And I'm pretty sure he's going to end up handing this to a grand jury to ultimately make that decision.
And that's why the autopsy is so important, but also the release of this dash cam video.
Right. So the dash cam video is from when she's arrested. We're expecting that to be released today. It's a somewhat separate issue, right, as to why she was arrested. Did the police behave properly when she was arrested? But that'll be more important in any civil lawsuit that she may file against the police department than necessarily in the murder investigation.
And why she spent 3 days in jail as well.
That's right.
Okay, Dan Abrams, thanks very much.
And there was no reason to arrest that sister. None at all. But they're going to hand the case over to... Look, put it like this. All that sounds good, but none of it came to fruition. I doubt they even tested for any DNA or fingerprints on a bag, plastic bag. I don't know what color the plastic bag was or nothing. I'm pretty sure one of those devils probably got the plastic bag and they're going to sell it on eBay. No different from when Zimmerman sold Trayvon Martin's gun. They're going to do the same thing. You know what I'm saying? They don't care. They don't care. And that's what y'all got to understand. That's what y'all got to get used to and know that they do not care. So when you prepare for that, you could avoid a lot of those problems. You can avoid a lot of those problems. You know what I'm saying? Because the simple fact is, look at all the excuses that showered her death. Look at all the excuses that showered Tamir Rice's death. All the excuses that showered Trayvon Martin's death. All the excuses that showered, you know what I'm saying, George Floyd's death. Ahmaud Arbery's death. There's a whole bunch of excuses they would give to show that they are not guilty. A whole bunch of excuses. They don't care. Period. Not one bit. They don't care at all. They will straight up and down come up with a million more excuses to kill you. That's why you should not give them not one excuse. That's why you should not smoke. That's why you should not be drinking in public. That's why you should not eat pork, crab, shrimp, and lobster. Because they will come up with a million excuses on why they can kill you. You know what I'm saying? 1,000,001 excuses. Davion. Devin. Slovakia, y'all. Bear with me on that. Any questions? Any questions? No questions. All right, let's get a little more into the history.
There's
get a little more into the history. We can go into the toxicology. Nah, we ain't gonna go any more further into that. Hold on one sec.
Walk away.
Damn, I lost something. Hold on. We're gonna go to one more scripture real quick. Hold on, let me type it in. Alright, if you're there, you're there.
Just stay on.
Nah, just read along with me.
Better not walk away from that pillow.
Revelations chapter 18, verse 4. If you're there, read along with me. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, "Come out of her, my people." What does it mean to come out of her? Let me explain this. Her is America.
What?
This her is America. This her is this democratic democracy, this American way of thinking, this westernized way of thinking. That's what the her is. How do you come up out of her? Simply by not partaking in the things that she do. You know what I'm saying? Let's continue. Come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins. What is her sins? America's sins is the smoking. America's sins is the pork, crab, shrimp, and lobster. America's sins is the adultery, the fornication. You know what I'm saying? America's sins is the murder, the drug dealing, the drug using. Come up out of her. Stop doing that, and they won't have no excuse. You come up out of her, you stop doing what she does, and there will be no excuse. I know you want to be equal. You want to do what she does. Oh, it looks so fun over there. Oh, look at them partying. Look at them having a good time. But look, you do what they do. It's just an excuse to kill you. It's just an excuse to murder you. Just an excuse to take you out. And that's what they did with that sister Sandra. They looked for any excuse to take her out. The problem is, I wish there was audio on those prison cams. There's no audio on the prison cams. Visuals all they claim they need to see what's going on. You know, we know something vocally could escalate any situation. Audio is needed in those prison cameras, because I'm pretty sure I'm positive that sister did not take her life. They're not giving up all the visual, talking about an hour later she died. How did she get that trash bag? How did she get that trash bag? That's what I want to know. How? Was it in her pocket? Did they search her? They're full of crap, man. That's all I gotta say, but let's continue. In that ye receive not of her plagues. Look, that's why America's going through this COVID and all that other BS. That's a plague that the Most High has for America. That's why America's catching it the worst. America is not the most populated country. China is, but China's number is nowhere near America's. That COVID was a special gift from God to America. And there's more to come. It's going to get worse. It's not going to get better. It's not going to get better. It's not going to be the same again. It's not. And y'all need to prepare for that by entering this school of the ISUPK so we can get you prepared. Because this is a spiritual thing here. If that sister was in the ISUPK, guess what? She'd still be alive. It's just that simple. You know what I'm saying? But I'm about to end the class. You know what I'm saying? So let me end with the security announcements. We are the ISUPK, started out at 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York. Rule for new brother and sister. When a brother or sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to shed themselves of the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There is another 6 months in which the brother and sister will court each other. After 6 month period, the brother or sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithe, which is a commandment. Numbers 18 through 21 and Malachi 3, 8 through 10, which means ma'ashro, which means a tenth in the Hebrew. 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you, give to the Treasury Department or your teacher. Free will offering, which is not mandatory, but whatever you want to give it. It's highly appreciated. You know what I'm saying? And if you want to be a trooper in the school, get into this body, put on all black, black shirt, black pants, black headpiece. Get up in this body. Let's do this work. Let's raise this nation up. Let's get everything together. You know what I'm saying? And with that, shalom.